in Socrates Poison, we have a wonderful quote from Henry Ford. Enthusiasm is the yeast that makes your hopes shine to the stars. Enthusiasm is the sparkle in your eyes, the swing in your gait, the grip in your hand, the irresistible surge of will and energy to execute your ideas. And that was from Henry Ford. Another great one I found was this revolution, the information revolution, is a revolution of free energy as well, but of another kind, free intellectual energy. It's very crude today, yet our Macintosh computers or Apples or whatever take less power than a 100-watt bulb to run it, and it can save you hours a day. What will it be able to do 10 or 20 years from now, or even 50? And that was from Steve Jobs. Another great one I came across was from Nikola Tesla. He's like, I do not think there is any thrill that can go through the human heart like that felt by the inventor as he sees some creation of the brain unfolding to success. Such emotions make a man forget food, sleep, friends, love, and everything. And that was a quote from our wonderful inventor, Nikola Tesla.
Yeah,
now, you got to love that guy. And so I wanted to go ahead and what is the Age of Aquarius? Now, the Age of Aquarius, in order to understand the Age of Aquarius, you have to look into astrology. I'm not going to get into the foundations of it because it is a very long history lesson, but it is also something that has been with us and made it through the cracks of history from way before the teachings of time, and which you would also know listening to last week's show, the Enoch and the Jesuits and the Illuminati, where astrology actually came from. Now, astrology is not only reading the stars, it's reading you, the future, and every moment of everything in the universe at the present time. And so right now, everything's basically happening. Right now, not only are you listening to the show, but someone just died or someone was just born. Somewhere in the world right now, it's already tomorrow. People are doing what you just witnessed all day, all over again. And the world is floating through space at rapid speeds, flying like a time machine spaceship in its own, along with all the other planets roaming along, orbiting the solar system. Most of the time unthought, just basically they're unthought of usually, and they're basically just floating alone in the depths of space. But right now, all that matters is right now. Now, in the Age of Aquarius, just briefly on the topic, Aquarius is the sign of basically the knowledge bearer. They're assertive, independent, progressive, analytical, original, and inventive, and has strong dislikes and firm opinions. It is the 11th sign on the zodiac wheel, being the sign as the knowledge bearer as well as the sign of great inventions and evolution of human creativity and science. But imagine the whole world at this conscious level of our life. And that's why it's pretty interesting. We're going to go ahead so an age is basically when you take account of the astrological signs of the zodiac wheel in full circle, the middle represents you or the world, or you're on the world, so it basically represents everybody. And while the world, just like us, has its own age and sign as it goes through its cycle, it was the second century BC, before Christ, that a Greek astronomer named Hipparchus, who discovered a phenomenon called the precession of the equinoxes. And he found that ever so slightly the Earth shifts in its positions as it spins through the solar system. And scientists sometimes refer to the Earth's slight shift as the Earth's wobble. And after I saw the video of Athen, it really intrigued me of his belief system, and I would like to introduce Athen to the show. Athen, you still there?
I am. Thanks for having me. Good to be on.
Yes, it's great to have you. Welcome to the show. And you had a great theory about what the wobble really was. And if you can go ahead and tell us basically, a little bit about your theory and even a little bit about yourself as well.
Sure. So I am an astrologer. I spent the majority of my life, really trying to figure myself out and how I play into, the whole universe, basically. And that led me to astrology, which is, very personal science, but also, it's a lot of it has to do with the external environment mirroring the internal. So
Right.
all these planets, as they cycle across, they're actually mirroring what's going on internally. So when it comes to, like the age or any age or age of Aquarius, it's basically the external manifestation of what society is going through at any given moment. And the way it's determined is you have your north celestial pole, which is pointing towards a certain zodiac sign. So if you imagine a line from the North Pole and you draw it straight out, it'll point towards a zodiac. So right now it's in Pisces, and it takes 26,000 years for this cycle to come to full circle. And we have 6 degrees left to go before it enters Aquarius, and this would signify the beginning of the age of Aquarius.
Right.
Now, this is all coming about based on a so-called wobble of the Earth, but everything's relative. So relative to us, everything's wobbling. However, I don't think that's the case. I think what's actually the case is we're part of a binary star system with Sirius, which is our sister star, if you will. And it's in this rotation that we share with the star that's causing this so-called wobble or the precession.
Yes.
And so if you can imagine concentric circles being drawn around our rotation around the center of the galaxy, then you'll notice that we're increasing and decreasing our distance through space, which is increasing and decreasing our time. But in either case, we have 6 degrees left to go until we enter the age of Aquarius, and right now we're certainly in the age of Pisces.
It's pretty interesting, though, how you mentioned it's going in spirals, because if you look at the Fibonacci sequence and the God path and the way that even our nature and the way that, our makeup really is, it's of the 5. You know what I'm saying? It's
exactly.
the Fibonacci number, and it also works in spirals. And so when you begin to look at atoms being spirals, circles, I don't know what happened. And then you start looking at how everything kind of coincides with itself. Me and Crowley have always had this theory that basically everything is connected. As we got older, we became more convinced that everything really is universal and connected. So when you bring up the wobble and your theory that basically the makeup of the planets in the specific houses or zodiac signs, if you may, of where they lay, does make up the present moment going on, as well as somebody's birth and makeup, and it does affect our emotions. So that even kind of convinces me even more of, religious theories that I have.
Certainly. And,
yes.
when it comes to the age of Aquarius.
Crowley, you still there?
So what actually happens? So we enter into a whole new age, like the whole world enters into a whole new level of consciousness. That's what you're talking, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, why don't you explain, in the video there, you went from the explanation.
Yeah. What kind of thing?
Yeah, remember when you gave the explanation of Aries going into Pisces, and how, because that was really wonderful how you did that. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that?
Talk about the age of Aries into Pisces that we experienced?
Yeah,
like you went on the video talking about.
We got to base this whole transition on.
Okay, just to give a little background. So basically, we're constantly changing ages, and the last transition we had was from the age of Aries into the age of Pisces, and this happened around 200 AD. So just after and during the collapse of the Roman Empire. Now, if you imagine the Roman Empire was very Aries energy. Aries in astrology is self-centered, established, motivated, goal-oriented, and a very masculine sort of energy. Well, what happened is the collective in the entire world was switching into the age of Pisces. And this is a collective thing, so we're all linked here. The collective, consciousness.
Collective consciousness.
Right, and those societies that weren't able to transition, in this case from the age of Aries into the age of Pisces, the universe basically, or the earth, or however you see this, forced them into a transition And unfortunately for the Roman Empire, this was catastrophic because they latched on so tightly to their Aries principles that they weren't able to smoothly transition into the age of Pisces. And as you can see, the past 2,000 years has been very much about the age of Pisces. It's been about religion, Christian teachings, but in general, just spirituality. And, and there's also said to be a messenger before each of these switches. And the messenger before, the age of Pisces, about 200 years before the switch, was Jesus Christ. Whether, whatever your belief system is, it was, he was a messenger, and it was about shifting into the Pisces consciousness, trying to help people switch into that new frame of consciousness.
Yep.
And I think we're going to probably see the same now as we go into the age of Aquarius. But like I said, we're still 6 degrees apart, which means we're still at least 200 to 400 years away from the age of Aquarius right now.
See, that brings me to my theory. I have a theory that the wobble speeding, I have a theory of the wobble speeding the process to the age of Aquarius. And when you start looking at the current events of our world as we know it, it's beginning to kind of rapidly get a little bit more chaotic. I mean, in the Central American location here, we had 50 crazy tornadoes. I'm not sure if you heard about that. There's earthquakes that are happening all over the place. We got Fukushima, that meltdown, going nuts. The North Pole's melting, turning into a lake. And then you start thinking about the North Pole that shifted 160 degrees off its original point, which I definitely recommend people checking this stuff out and researching for yourself. But anywho, I'm going to go on about what I know. So they even had to paint and repaint the lines at airports. And so I had a question for you, was that do you maybe believe that basically through the procession of our world as we know it, kind of going into this transition through all these catastrophic things, do you think this could speed up to the age of Aquarius?
Exactly. I totally believe that's the case, and that's why my numbers are actually so low. According to our past, each degree takes 78 years. So
okay.
If you do 78 times 6, you're going to get at the high end, which is like 400 or something, 400, give or take, 100 years. But if you adjust for time-space changing, like I believe it is, like I was saying with the concentric circles, then that can dramatically decrease that number, and by how much, nobody can say. So technically, it could happen tomorrow. But for a fact,
that's
right
weird.
now, we are at 6 degrees away from the age of Aquarius at this moment.
And another reason why I think it's significant is whatever your belief system is, whoever's listening on the show, whether you believe in God or believe in the Illuminati or just believe your government is taking you for a ride, one of the two. I know that there's somewhere in the line, someone can put their finger on what I said there. And when you put Bible prophecy into the mix of things, and it said that there would be these particular events that would take place, and it would begin to escalate faster and faster and faster. And as from 2011, when we had the earthquake, and there was many more earthquakes too, but not really as graphic as the Fukushima meltdown. And that caused a huge crack in the ocean surface, 100-foot tsunami that wiped out the entire city. It caused 2 nuclear power plants to have astronomical catastrophic event that is definitely detrimental to us. And, when you start thinking about the events that have taken place and you try to compare life and what's really going on to what was basically prophesized in the Bible, it's pretty coincidental. In the process of this speeding up, and if it is possible, what is the age of Aquarius? And what is it really like? What does it entail for future humanity?
Well, just like you said, it's about embodying those traits and characteristics that you mentioned in the beginning. It's about intuition, inventiveness. But overall, as a collective, it means just giving back and coming out of this, especially now, because basically these governments have been, and these, people in power have been trying to keep us in the age of Aries, which is, again, self-centered and, very much based on consumption. But in any case, right now, we have to continue to master the Pisces energies. But while we do this, we have to transition into embodying the age of Aquarius energies, which is giving back. And it's about, it's the water bearer. It's using our intuition, our ideals, our ideas, and making something, for the collective, for society. The water bearer is pouring water into a river, which signifies, a place where many people drink. It's the community. It's the collective. So in a nutshell, it's about giving back and being of service to, mankind.
Well, it sounds like it's all with religion, too. I mean, so Jesus comes and he brings this Pisces concept, and then we're going to move in where we all have this realization, we all work together, and all new inventiveness.
Well, what's funny is that we were talking about, me and Athen were talking about that same thing that you're talking about, and if you don't accept the transition, you'll be forced to, basically, as you progress into it. And,
I'm sure once people realize what it is, they're going to want it.
Absolutely.
I hope so, but look after the Roman Empire, went into the Dark Ages, and it was it was very.
And you bring up the Roman Empire, though. We kind of have a Roman Empire around us. Wouldn't you agree?
Exactly. It's the same empire. Exactly, and it's trying to keep us right. You're absolutely right.
The Hebrews, when they came out of Egypt, they built a shrine of an ox, right? Wouldn't that represent Taurus?
Exactly.
Where they tried to usher in a good time when they remember a certain age, and they were also aware of this whole star system stuff. I think the whole shrine that they built was a shrine to Taurus.
You know what? That's a good theory to bring up. What do you think about that, Athen? Would you look at these? Because and I'm not trying to get all biblical here. I'm just trying to connect pieces. And hold on, let me capture my thought again. Yes, in the Bible it basically said, he never said that he didn't make multiple gods. He says, I am a jealous God. So when you look at these astrological figures, would these be represented as gods to people at one time? Or do you think that maybe they were gods?
Absolutely. During the age of Aries, it was, the lamb, or, the lamb or the sheep, and during the age of Taurus it was the bull, and before that, you could keep going back and back and back. There was always some sort of, image or what you might call a representative or something that embodied
an idol, a symbol.
Yeah.
A deity.
Yeah.
And we had a show about that too, actually, about symbols and deities. I think it was inside the show The Conjuring, and how people idolize people and they don't realize what an idol really means, and by saying that that's your idol, you're basically saying that person's your god.
Here's the cool thing too about Aquarius is a strong possibility that there may not actually be one at this age, because Aquarius is about individuality. It's about tapping into your own individuality, and there's a good possibility that the idol will be you. It'll be everybody.
But that's scary,
You'll be within yourself, listening to your own inner guidance.
I think what's happening is that, all right, so if you go with the whole theory that reality is consciousness, and this is what makes up what reality actually is, then I think everybody's going to have this realization, and we'll all be able to work together on this situation.
That's right.
So
that brings me to my next question of what does this entail for humanity as a whole coming into the age of Aquarius? And exactly like you said, because you are an Aquarius, Crowley, so it's perfect that, we're discussing this stuff, because, I've basically been a parasite to your mind for years. I definitely know the way that you think, and, to me it's inspiring, and when you start looking at the facts of history, most of our inventors are Aquariuses, and imagine everybody coming into this inventive conclusion. Now, most Aquariuses that I know, spiritual people. They do actually believe in God. But let's think a bunch of people that are not Aquariuses and don't. How do you think that by not taking in account of something higher than yourself and feeling like as if you're a god, what do you think that that's going to do? Do you think there could be less emotion on the world, a little less compassion, maybe a little bit more wickedness?
No,
are you asking
I
me?
think.
Sorry.
Yeah, who are you talking to?
Both of you guys. Well, I'll ask Athen. What do you
I don't think so because of an Aquarius is a humanitarian. He wants to see the best for everything. You know.
And you think that this will be the consciousness of a whole, is to become more of a humanitarian?
Well, it has to. Look, we're in Pisces, and aren't people having that consciousness? They're over there. We had jihad casted on us by these Muslim people, just people.
Well, that sounds like the Aries still trying to come in and provoke war and basically keep us suppressed.
Oh, yeah, well, like you said, we're still trying to hang on to this Roman Empire, this Aries ideal. Isn't this what God... when,
I didn't say it. Athen said
come
it.
down and slam the...
Yeah.
And the tablets and stuff, he was saying that they were worshiping the age of Taurus, which was probably a good time for the Hebrews, you know what I'm saying? And that they must usher in this new era.
And that kind of brings me back to, accepting that as the notion and accepting what Athen had to say about